So let's start with the first type of measures, which will be the measures of central tendency. Central tendency, this is the tendency of data, so of numbers, to cluster, or we can also say center, around certain numerical values. And there are three popular measures of central tendency: mean, median, and mode. Let's have a look at each of them one by one, and to analyze them we will use an example. On this slide you can see an example of individual data. So table 1 presents the data on individual consumption of cheese per year in kilos: 2, 4, 3, 5, 3, 1, 5, 3, 2, 6. And if you count those numbers, you will see that in total there are 10 values, which means that the total number of observations in this data set is 10. The mean value, I think all of you are very much familiar with this. This is just the average, so the sum of the values divided by the total number of observations. Here is a formula, so in the denominator we sum each individual value, and then we divide it by n, which is the total number of observations. So if we look at our example of cheese, you will see that here in the denominator we've got the sum of each individual value taken from this table, and this sum is divided by 10. So we get that the mean or the average consumption of cheese per year is 3.4 kilos. The median, this is the middle number when the values are arranged in ascending or descending order. So this is the value that we take from the middle of the data set. And before we take this value from the middle of the data set, we need to put the numbers starting from the lowest and ending with the biggest. So, and to calculate a sample median, we need to do the following. So as I said, we arrange the values, so the numbers, from the smallest to the largest. And if the number of observations is odd, the median will be just the middle number. However, if the number of observations is even, like in our case it's 10, we would need to take two middle numbers and divide them by 2. So let's have a look at our example. So in this row you can see that the values have been ordered from the smallest till the largest. Since this is an even number of values, 10 numbers, we need to take two middle values. In this case this is 3 and 3. And to calculate the median, we sum them and we divide them by 2, and we get that the median value for this data set is equal to 3. Another value that I've also mentioned is the mode. This is the value that appears most frequently in the data set. And if we go back to our data set, let's for example have a look at this rearranged data set, we will see that the value that appears most frequently is number 3, right? Because we've got 3 values of 3, and as for other values, there are only 2 values of 2, 1 value of 1, 1 value of 4, 2 values of 5, and 1 value of 6. So 3 is the mode. There is also a very nice relationship between these three measures, and here is the equation. So the mean minus the mode is approximately equal to 3 multiplied by the difference between the average and the median. To understand the relationship between mean, mode, and median, you need to be familiar with the term of skewness. So if you look at these 3 graphs, you can see that there are 3 types of skewness: negative, normal, and positive. To analyze skewness, we can use 2 approaches. The first approach is a very technical one, is by comparing mean, median, and mode. So if you look at the middle graph, you will see that we have normal skewness, so no skew, which means normal distribution, is when mean, median, and mode are exactly the same, so when they're equal to each other. We have positively skewed data when mean is the highest, whereas mode is the lowest value and median is in the middle. And negatively skewed data when mean is actually the lowest, whereas mode is the highest and median is in the middle. Technically, it's very easy to construct these graphs. This is a histogram that we are familiar with. So on the horizontal axis, we put each individual value from the data set. So in my case, in case of my data set, I would put 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6 value on the horizontal axis. And on the vertical axis, the frequency axis, I will put how many times this specific number appears in the data set. So in case of the value of 1, I will put 1 on the frequency axis. In case of 2, I will put 2 because it appears 2 times. In case of 3, I will put the value of 3 because it appears 3 times. In case of 4, I will put 1 because it appears only 1 time. In case of 5, I will put 2 because it appears 2 times in the data set. And in case of 6, I would put 1 because it appears 1 time in the data set. And then if you connect the upper points of your histogram, you will get some sort of distribution. So since mean, median, and mode are not the same in my case, and actually mean is higher than mode and median, I would say that the data set that I use, so the data set about the cheese consumption, is positively skewed.